In this video you are joining us in Newcastle International Airport in the northeast of England. Today we're taking the Cessna 152 on a one-lap circuit of Newcastle Airport. So let's start the engine and get ready for pushback. I'm setting the ILS frequency in advance, 111.50, that's for the ILS frequency of runway 25 here at Newcastle, and I'll also set the ADF to 352. Okay, so now it's time to taxi to the runway. Just clearing the parking area here now, and I will see you at the end of the runway. And we are ready for takeoff. We will release the brakes, slowly increase the power, and we're rolling. Airspeed is live. Looking for 60 knots. There it is there, gentle pull back on the controls, and we are airborne. Looking to climb out at about 80 knots, which is around about there. We'll trim for that. And we are heading up to 1,000 feet for the pattern altitude. Holding at the moment our runway heading of 250 degrees. Going to trim down a touch because we're getting a bit high. A bit too much. Keep that climb. When we get to 1,000 feet, we'll pull back on the power to around about 2,200 RPM, something like that, and then we'll trim out for level flight as we make our turn to the crosswind leg. So it's approaching 1,000 feet there now, power coming back. That allows the nose to settle down a little bit, and we'll trim for that and begin our turn to the left. 90 degrees to a heading of 160 for our crosswind leg. Rolling out on 160. Just recheck our trim as we've changed our heading. Get our bearings with the airport. To our left there. There we are, this is our crosswind leg. Up ahead we have the west suburbs of Newcastle Upon Tyne. You see the River Tyne in the distance there. Now the wind is wanting to push me to the left, so I have to keep correcting for that. Back to a heading of 160. Trim is looking decent. Disappearing over the left shoulder there, so it's almost time to make our turn to the downwind leg, which is going to be 070 degrees, which we will start now. 30 degrees of bank, a bit of back pressure to prevent the nose from dropping, and we are looking for 070 degrees, rolling out there. Recheck our trim for a new heading. It's a little bit nose high. Recheck our bearings with the airport. There it is there. On the front of the airplane there, that's Kingston Park, and we have the A1 dual carriageway running down to the side there. Again, Newcastle in the distance there. Getting a little bit of altitude there, so I'm just going to pull back a little bit more power. Keep our bearings there with the airport. We're almost directly alongside the runway there. That's Kingston Park Rugby Ground, just down there. And again, the wind is wanting to push us, so it'll bring us back onto a heading of 070. Keep our bearings with the airport. Now just ahead of us, this area here, this is Newcastle Racecourse in Gosforth. When we get to the other side of that, around about here, that's when we're going to begin our turn to base leg. A little bit of distance to go. So we've now gone beyond the end of the runway there. We want to go a little further to give ourselves clearance from the airfield before we make our turn to base leg. Check our position with the race course. It's got the golf course in the centre of it there. This is the A189 dual carriageway running along there, and that tends to be my visual reference point to begin turn to base. So we'll go a little further, still climbing a little bit. So there's Newcastle Racecourse down there. And again, our runway is disappearing over our left shoulder there, so it's almost time for the turn. There's the 189 dual carriageway just drifting along there. So now is the time to make our turn. Roll out there on 340 degrees, and then we're going to reduce the power. If you look at the ILS display there, we are slightly below the glide slope, so we're going to not lose too much height until we're actually just a little above the glide slope. I'm going to pull the power back to allow the speed to roll off. Our airport is just there, just the other side of the wing strut. Now I'm starting to descend there because I've cut the power and I don't want to do that, so we're going to lift the nose a little bit and drop our first notch of flaps. That's give us a little bit more lift but also a bit more drag. Oh, I'm a little bit late on the turn there. You see the localizer coming in there, so I'm going to make a quite a steep turn because I've overcooked that a little bit. That's Big Waters Nature Reserve directly on the front of the aeroplane there, that lake. And there we go. Okay, I overshot it a little bit, but we're back on. But again, we're below the localizer, so I'm just going to pull the nose up to level flight, increase the power a little bit. And we'll line ourselves up with the center line of the runway. And that's looking good. That's Big Waters just disappearing off to our right. A little over 65 knots. Level flight because we're still a little bit below the glide slope. We're going to assist us with a little more flap, extra notch of flaps. Again, increases the lift but also increases the drag. But I don't want to lose too much speed, so I'll increase the power a little bit. Good. Now we're back on the glide slope. I'm going to allow the glide slope just to disappear a little bit below us because we've got a nice long runway. I'm going to go a little bit beyond the threshold. I'm going to cut the power a bit back now and allow more of a natural descent. And we'll go full flaps. Enter the airport perimeter. A little bit right of centre at the moment, so let's pull it back a little bit. Watch the power, don't want to lose too much speed. Ready for a flare out. Throttle back. Throttle to idle, and we're holding off, holding off, holding off. We're down. That was quite a smooth landing, a little bit left of centre, but that's not too bad. And there we have it. A nice easy sunny day circuit of Newcastle Airport. I hope you enjoyed that.